not just a phenomenon of like the problem of Facebook and existential risk and fairly new stuff. It's some pretty deep stuff that most of us take for granted as being normal. And for most of us, like wearing clothes is really normal. The idea that we wouldn't anywhere would seem kind of like either horrifying or, something problematic. But again, it's like that's the same as the concept of the burqa or the, in some other part of the world, or, if we look at Somalia or certain parts of Northern Africa today where female genital mutilation is still, very popular, the fact that 90% of the girls go through female genital mutilation, we look at that as a kind of collective, insane idea of their culture. Like it's not sane, right idea. But again, we can do that over there. And we can look at our own past in the Dark Ages and say, yeah, we were collectively insane as, European descendant people during that time period. But then future generations looking at this time period and saying you locked people up in jail for choosing to take some intoxicant and then they didn't hurt anyone, or for their bodies not being covered, but you were happy to blow lots of people up in war and homelessness and whatever. Yeah, you're still fucking insane. And so that's one of the deeper concepts I want people to get is to, if you really think through what it would mean to be sane as a person and what it would mean to be sane as a society, is it sane to be lying to people and to assume everyone's lying to you, right? Like it might be sane to assume people are lying to you in a world where that's really happening, but it's at the individual level, right? It's adaptive, but it's not sane as a collective, and there's no way for the individuals within it to actually be psychologically healthy. Is it psychologically healthy to be doing image management other than actually being authentic in human relationships all the time? And where does that come from and what does it create? And, as we go back and we say, okay, we've actually been doing some pretty psychologically unwell things for a long time. We haven't even recovered from it. Our country, the country I'm in, the United States, was founded on the genocide of the native people here, the slavery of Africans, some meaningful slavery of Chinese people, the oppression of women, when we look at Black Lives Matter, when we look at the indigenous rights movement, we can see that we still haven't actually addressed those things, fixed those things. So this means we've got a pretty meaningful history of doing things that created psychological unwellness en masse. We have some new phenomena like that now. And how can people that individually and collectively have that level of psychological trauma and unwellness and lack of ability to even sense make, coordinate adequately to solve the scope of the problems that we have? We can't. So if we're going to solve the scope of the problems that we have so we get to continue as a species at all, and we're going to continue as a species in a way that's worth continuing, meaning a meaningful quality of human life, we've actually got to figure out as individuals how to get psychologically healthier and in relationships, how to make those psychologically healthier and how to take the health of anyone that has the agency to say, how do we work on changing our institutions, our education, to actually help children evolve and grow and develop in healthy ways rather than be psychologically damaged en masse. Our, information platforms and our, social platforms to actually be tools of health rather than tools of unhealth. And so I'm not giving solutions here because to really go into the scope of what that might look like is deep and huge. And I don't know, on a lot of it, but I can say that those that have the capacity, those who are thinking about it, starting to think really deeply about it and saying, you know what, I'm going to work earnestly to think about what would real mental health look like and to move into it in the ways that I can, to do the work that it takes to do that. And then to take the agency arising from that to work to bring groups of humans together to practice being humans with each other in ways that are health promoting for everyone, that are promoting real information sharing and honesty and meaningful cooperation and authenticity and the types of human dynamics that also make us less susceptible to hypernormal stimuli, and then starting to sense make as individuals and groups on how to solve larger issues and work on those together.